Mic check. Making sure I'm here. What's happening? Everybody can hear me. Let's see here. Eric's right. It is the cool kids table. Nobody wants to sit by themselves. Can you guys hear me? Test, 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 test. Testing, testing. Test. All right, let's make sure. Well, that sucked. Hold on. I didn't like that.
This is somebody else from far, far, far away. The video last night was removed, yes. But nothing major happened, I don't think.
Did it? I don't think it was major. Yeah, I'll talk about that here in a little bit. All right, welcome, welcome. Come on in. Grab a seat. There you go. What's this? Wrong scene. I like that one. What's up? Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. What's up, Brandy? Good to see you. Snow plows, huh? Is that going on big time? It's been cold though, right? Let me see here. Okay, that needs to go forward. Doing this on the fly. It's always good. Retha's gonna miss it, dude. Retha's gonna miss it. Okay. So we might as well just get it out of the way. Put a 1 in the chat if you were here last night. I don't know how many people are here right now, but if you were here last night, put a 1 in the chat. If you went to come find the channel or the show last night, hit 2. A lot of people were here. I was hoping nobody saw. Got it. My bad. I apologize. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know how else to put it. I was just kind of, I was thrown off. I threw myself off. And for some reason, I just became annoyed. And I was having trouble getting back on track. I was trying to read the chat. It was my fault. And I just shut down completely. I just shut down. I was like, you know what? And that's not proper. I shouldn't have done it. I shouldn't have done it that way. But I did. And so I do apologize for that. I don't know. I'm not really sure what it was. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I'm sorry, Debbie. I really do. I understand. I apologize. I just took off. I was just like, I just, I do get annoyed. But yes, I got annoyed. But it was just, I don't know. It was like a baby. I was like a baby could be, when a baby's like overly tired and they kind of throw like a little, and what I'm telling you is you didn't miss anything. All I did was I was like looking at the chat. Chat was having fun like they always do. They do their thing. And then I all of a sudden was just like, well, I'm not, I don't know. I'm not having fun right now. So I shut her down without saying anything. And I shouldn't have done that. And I've done that once before. And it's just like, you got to be, I don't know. I did. I have. Yeah. I have hung up before. Kimberly's right. I have only once. That was the second time. And that was the second time that had happened. And I got to be completely, I did. I shut her down, dude. I shut her down. And I got to be completely honest with you too. While I was talking to you, today is my son's actual birthday. A good old man tantrum, but it wasn't a tantrum. It was just like I've just, I don't know what it was. I started kind of to become like weirdly overwhelmed about the fact that my son is 21 years old today, and it's a beautiful day, and it's great, and I was at a loss. And, I understand, people come to the show and they're like, it's really weird because sometimes I get, you never know what's going to happen here. I do all kinds of stuff here. I review stuff. I just talk. I say stupid things. I try to make people laugh. I just say the dumbest stuff. Mostly I try to keep it lighthearted. Sometimes it gets a little serious, but not often. And, I hear a lot like, well, this channel's not like your other one. And that's essentially why I created a second channel, because like I've said before, this show may not be for you. Also, the lab may not be for you, which is totally understandable. I got no problem with any of that either. You might like it, you might not. It doesn't matter. It's fine. And so sometimes I get kind of thrown off because like I'll put a title in and people are either confused by the title. I've got to tell you that the title is a little bit topical tonight, actually, but you got to understand that like I really, most of the time, the titles aren't that serious. Sometimes I'll put a thumbnail up, but it's really just an episodic show. You just kind of, what's happening. And I understand that some people may not like it. Got it. Sometimes it's confusing. I mean, if I know that the diehards get it, they understand the show, and, they get it. So anyway, I had a plan. I was working at it. I was trying to get there. And I just, I felt like, I don't know what I felt like, to be honest with you. I felt something. And so I do apologize. I know that the way that I went about it just was like, so I don't necessarily have an excuse or a reason that I did it. I just know that it wasn't proper. Although I really didn't know how else to go about it. I mean, I just was like, okay, I'm so annoyed right now. And so, how do you put this? I was annoyed. I mean, there was no other, but I was the one that annoyed myself. I probably shouldn't have even been, I was probably too tired to even do it. And then it just went to shit, like instantly. I was just like, you could see it, like it was like, I felt this, I don't know. So after that happened, I went inside, Otis bit me, and then I called Peyton, and him and I talked for a good hour, and we laughed, and we talked about how things have changed. So especially in the last year for me, things have changed dramatically, and I really don't think that I have processed the dramatic changes, and I think that they affect my mood sometimes to where I will become sort of just down, kind of depressed a little bit sometimes, not always, this isn't a boo hoo hoo pity me. No, it's none of that. It's just like sometimes these transitions aren't easy in life. And I've been used to a certain way of living for quite some time. And all of that's changed within the last year or so. And I just, not ready. I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't ready for it. I still am not, I don't know. I still don't like it. I don't know. I never thought that, having kids at such a young age, would do that to you when, I don't necessarily feel old at all, but it's like, I've seen my friends, like my very, very close, we're going to get dark, it's dark. So we're going to get a little, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to lay it on the line here for you. I'm going to be as honest with you as anybody's ever been with you before today. Probably not. I'm being dramatic. That's what you do to have a show. You know what I mean? I'm going to lay it on you got to lay it on the line sometimes, folks. Anyway, now that that's over, the dramaticness of it, all of my friends, my very, very close friends, and I mean all of them, I have 4 people that I consider really good friends. Like I love them type friends, lifelong friends. All right. Now that you get it. Okay. And I've been almost 20 years, 15 to 20 years ahead of all of them. And I say that because I had kids at such a young age. And now they're all I don't have baby fever. I don't want to hear that. There's no such thing. It's just not a thing for me. I do not have baby fever at all. I couldn't even imagine waking up to a crying baby nightly at this point. I swear, there's nothing in me that goes, well, that's not it. I don't think. I don't know if maybe guys can get baby fever. I don't have that. I like to sleep, you know. And plus, I have 2 dogs, and I swear to God, they're babies. They're children. They're absolute children. Okay. But sometimes I feel like the best part is behind me. I don't know if you remember the scene in The Sopranos when Tony goes to Dr. Melfi and he was talking about how the mafia is not like it used to be. I'm going to try to use this analogy. It's probably going to fall short, but I'm going to do it anyway. And when he says, you know, the mafia is not what it used to be, and I think like the good days have passed me by, children wise, I guess. And because I'm very involved in my children's lives, you know, still am. I mean, it's not that I'm not, it's still am. But, you know, it's just not, I guess it's just not an easy thing to deal with. I'm not making any excuses. I'm just telling you that I was annoyed mostly at myself. And it's just not any, I don't know. I guess not coping with it very well, but I am, today, you know, my kids were, you know, my son turned 21 and I'm not even kidding. Like this is kind of like snap me out of it. I promise you. This is what snapped me out of it. I was watching, I think it was The Waltons. God, I love that show. It's like sometimes I think that I would be better suited for those kinds of times. You know what I mean? So, anyway, so watching The Waltons and a St. Jude's commercial comes on. And 99% of the time I walk out of the room because that's just not something, you know, it's reality, but I don't know. I just don't want to see it, I guess. It's just a lot. And so anyway, I was just sitting there and I just couldn't look away. I was just like looking at the TV, you know, and I see all these kids and stuff that are sick or were sick or, you know, battling it, and then the parents and that are having to deal with it. And then I caught myself talking about my son. And then I started to think about other people yesterday who may or may not have been in the chat. And I don't know. It was just affecting me for some reason yesterday. But I was sitting there and I was watching those commercials and it's like, what do you have to be like sad about? You big wuss. What is it that you have to be sad about? Like you got to raise your kids up and you knew that this was going to happen when you had kids so young. And it just, I don't know. It just kind of felt like all of a sudden it just happened. And I felt very ungrateful. I felt very selfish. I felt all kinds of stuff. And so I was a little mixed up yesterday, to be honest with you. And I was tired. And I had a lot on my mind. And then I just shut down. I was like, holy, I don't know. I don't know what it was either. I mean, I'm usually a go with the flow kind of guy, you know. And sometimes, I'm not going to tell you a lie. I'm not going to say, something happened. I don't know. I stubbed my toe I'll tell you exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. I got mixed up in my head and I started reading the chat, and the chat was having a lot of fun, which is the point of being here. And I wasn't having fun. And I started kind of getting, just sad. And there was just a lot going on. And so that's exactly what happened. And I am sorry that it did. And it wasn't proper. It wasn't proper from the standpoint of, I should have said, I'm going to stop the show. Everything was fine, because I know there were people who were like, what happened? What happened? What happened? What happened? And I didn't want people to be like thinking, I don't know, but I didn't feel like really talking about it either. It can be, yes, it can be very, but I didn't feel like talking about it. But anyway, so I'm watching that commercial, and I remember just saying, like, those people that work at that hospital, at the children's hospital, are like angels. The way that they, that's why when I did that show with Dr. Gary and I talked about Robin Williams and, the legend, his charitable work was far better than anything he'd ever done on TV. And he's done some of the best work on TV. Like he's one of the greatest, and I hate the fact that, that he took his own life, and that's what comes to people's minds immediately when they think of somebody like Robin Williams, because he's far more than anything like that. He was far more, and to reduce him to somebody who, but sometimes that's all people remember, and like, I like to be as entertaining as I can. But I guess yesterday I didn't have it in me. I don't know why. Usually I can push through and kind of roll with the punches and things like that. And I just didn't have it in me yesterday. I feel a lot better today. It's like a 20-minute commercial too. That was the thing, so I'm just sitting there and anytime, this is so stupid, but anytime I order from Domino's, and they like say, do you want to round up? You're like, if you don't round up, like, you're just for St. Jude's or whatever. And, anyway, I was just, I don't know. I guess sometimes I don't think I'm as pinned together as I think, that's what I mean. I don't think I'm as buttoned up as I probably should be. And that, I guess wasn't handling it yesterday. I did not handle it well. And, for that, I apologize. We are all human, but to leave like that was just sort of like being a baby. And, let's see. A little bit. Thank you so much for Mrs. Doubtfire is one of the best movies ever. I'm just Josh. I don't care, I guess I'm I just let things, especially yesterday, get to me, and I don't know why. And D, thank you. I appreciate you saying that. Josh, are you telling us that you're not wrapped too tight? I am officially telling you that if you ever needed an official statement from me about not being wrapped too tight or too right or whatever, yes. The answer is yes, I'm not wrapped too tight. Which is really strange because, I've dealt with a lot of emotions and sadness and struggles in my life, and it's my kids that affect me the most every single time, and it's a different feeling. And hey, Seth, how's it going? I'm sorry about that. I apologize. I feel like I did that to a lot of people. Yeah, of course. Of course. Let me see here. Whereas, yeah, I felt like I did that to a lot of people. So, yeah, I know. But I had, I tell you what I did do though is I went, I went and I called my son after and, talked to him we talked for a good hour. And it was great, but it's just not the same, It's not the same, but it's not supposed to be. And I'm learning that. I know it's not supposed to be the same, and but it's hard to process it because I don't know. I knew that the day was coming, and I didn't prepare for it mentally. I just didn't. I thought I would handle it just fine. I will tell you that the day that Peyton moved out, which was, God, I can't even remember now. I locked myself in the bathroom and I cried. Not only did I cry, I bellowed. And matter of fact, so much that my youngest son said that he could hear me through the vents in the house. It's like, I never heard you cry like that before. I was like, sorry. He could hear me through the vents. That was the funniest part. Because he comes up to me, he's like, "Hey, Dad." It's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I can hear you." Like, God. But it was, I mean, I don't know. I just didn't prepare for it the way that I think that I should have, And, yeah, I mean, like I said, I just was like, Brutal. Josh, both of my kids moved out on the same day in August. Damn. Yeah, my other youngest son didn't move out until it was like 8 months later or something like that. Yeah. Is that right? So apparently this isn't just some like me thing. Okay. I mean, I don't know. I didn't know. Apparently it's not a me thing. It's not just me. Yeah, that's not going to happen. That's just not happening, dude. I don't think I could handle that. I agree, Seth. You know, and like I said, I just felt like an asshole, to be honest with you. I don't know I have a better word for it. I wish I had a better word for it. I don't have a better word for it. I felt like an asshole, especially today. You know, I was like watching, you know, caught the 4 o'clock of the Waltons or whatever it was. I think it was the 4 o'clock. John Boy had a brain bleed. He got hit in the head with I believe it was a belt from the, what was that from? I think it was his dad's table saw. No person's pain or trauma is more than anyone others. Give yourself grace and you will give for someone else's pain. I deal with that a lot because whenever like I talk to somebody about something that they've been through, they typically say things like, I mean, depending, but I've heard it a lot but you know, it's nothing compared to what you've went through. Like I'll be watching stuff. I'll watch something and Linda will just flat out, like if it has anything to do with, you know, a dad murdering the mother or something like that, you know, she instantly like, should we turn it off? And I don't ever feel that way about it. You know what I mean? Like I never feel that way, but I get what she's saying, but I do not, when somebody says, you know, I lost my wife to, you know, such and such or whatever, and they say, you know, but it's nothing compared to what you've been through, but that's just not true. That's just not true. And I have never, ever, ever thought that in my life. I've never compared my trauma to somebody else's. Ever. And said, I've been through, you know, what are you crying for? That's nothing. Or I've never done that. I've never felt that way. Ever. And for obvious reasons, because I'll tell you this, I've experienced trauma and sadness far earlier than I had ever expected to, and far earlier than a lot of people. And so it almost kind of became like, I wouldn't say a friend, but it was sort of like, that's just life, you know? And I feel that way a lot. I do. I feel that like that's life. And the world doesn't really care if you live or die, you know, that's not the world's position, or job to care. It's the people around you that do. And I hear, stories from other people, and I don't I don't envy those people. I don't think that I would be able to handle stuff. Like I look at Seth, and I have a lot of respect for him because of how he does maintain. I'm sure he doesn't always feel like it, but I don't always feel like it either. And or Brandy for that matter. Two people that I admire because I don't know how sometimes people get out of bed in the morning with things like that. My grandmother, I think back to when she was in that position after her daughter was murdered and her other daughter ended up in the hospital, shot. I always said, God, you're resilient, you're tough, you're strong, and no, not really. I mean, the world's going to keep going. The world keeps going no matter what. So it's really just up to you if you're going to get up and keep going. You don't, I guess you don't have to. You should. You should. But it's not always that easy. And sometimes people do not participate in life the way that they should. People will ask, well, how did you get through? Like, how did you get over what happened to your mom? Well, I didn't. I never have. I'm never going to get over that. It was nothing. It's not something you get over. It's not, somebody didn't steal out of my piggy bank. You know what I'm saying? And that's not, it doesn't matter. If, the world doesn't wait for you, and so I don't know. I don't know what happened. I have no idea. It's something you lived. Yes, it is something you live or you learn and you live with it. Let me see. No words can fully capture the kind of pain because it's really not something anyone is ever meant to endure. And losing a child changes a person in a split moment and never feels right again. Yeah, I think I used to tell you guys that, I don't know if I have or not, but that my grandma, and mostly my grandma, was so overprotective when I was a kid. It used to drive me nuts. And it was like she wanted to just wrap us in bubble wrap. And I remember my aunt, her oldest daughter, my Aunt Lori, said to my grandmother, I remember being in the room because she asked like if she could take us somewhere, and my grandma was like, nah. We weren't allowed to go, especially at the time Aunt Lori was wild. Let me see here. Hold on. Josh, we're here for you. Thanks for sharing much of your life. You're giving back and you don't even realize it. Well, I appreciate that, Eric. Thank you. But anyway, we weren't allowed to do a lot of things, and all this. So, and I remember my aunt just saying, she got in an argument with my grandma about it, and it was a whole mess, and I was get thoroughly annoyed with her to the part where I would be upset. You know, it was upsetting. Pissed me off sometimes, to be honest with you, when I was a kid. And then as I got older, I realized it. I realized why she was that way. I realized because when my son, Peyton, who's now 21 years old, started having epileptic seizures, and I overly protected him, and I regret it to the ends of the earth, but I was just doing what I thought was best. And looking back, I don't think it probably was, but it was, it kind of opened up my eyes, to be honest with you. So that sucked, having to come to terms with something like that. Justin was here. What's up, dude? So I just had a breakup after 13 years. My family literally ignored me. I lived alone. I have ignored me. I live alone, and I have nothing to live for. That's all. Well, that's just not, I mean, I get what you're saying, but I don't think that's necessarily true. I mean, I'll tell you what you have to live for. You have life. And as long as you have life and you have a reason to live. And it's a gift. Doesn't always feel like a gift, that's for sure. One thing about it is life does not always feel like a gift, but it absolutely is. And we all have to kind of realize that. And if you have life in you, then you have a reason to persevere. And, you know, your family ignoring you and things like that, you absolutely, your family doesn't have to be blood related. You know, that's just, you can create a family. The future is uncertain, and that's what makes it exciting, because it could get better. And you know, obviously you get wiser as the older that you get. So hopefully you make less mistakes as you get older, but not always. That's not always the case, but it should be. I mean, we should learn from our mistakes, but, you know, I mean, you have a lot of life in you, you know, and that's like the essence of living, is it's having the opportunity to do it, you know, and then you make sure while you're doing that, while you're living, you become the rock. You position yourself to be the one that is the quote unquote strong one. So when something bad happens in your family, you can be the one that people look to, because that's part of life. And family, like I said, family isn't just, it's not just biological, you know. And you know, you can change the world tomorrow, but if you stop, how are you going to do that? You know, you got to try to fulfill your purpose. And that's what keeps me coming back, is because I'm blessed with the opportunity to talk to people in the middle of the night that the audience that I've grown to care about, this show that I care about. And we all spill the same blood in the same mud, and we're all going to the same place. Well, life's going to end the same way for all of us. I don't think that everybody is going to the same place, but I don't wish that on anybody. But I'll let God deal with that. But I'll let God deal with that. That's not for me to say. Josh, my oldest son, who shares your same birthday, just 1 year older than you, recently thanked me for being as overprotective as I was, as he was at his. Oh man. Yeah. Yeah, look, I get it. I understand. I understand. Let me see. Hold on, there was another comment. Jen in Jersey says, I didn't realize how insightful you were. Well, I'll tell you that some days I am, and then some days I'm not. I guess it just really depends on my mood. And I guess just for the last couple of days, I've been thinking. And, I sometimes I wish that I wasn't as self-aware as I am. I wish that I wasn't as self-aware, because I think that people that are kind of less self-aware have less anxiety and less worry, and wouldn't realize that they were stuck in an elevator when they really are, or you know what I mean? I don't know if you call that dumb or what. I don't know. I don't know what that is. Sometimes I feel that way, though. I got to tell you, it's kind of a pain in the ass. When you're just kind of aware. You're just aware of everything. Why? I don't know. I just am sometimes. I wish I wasn't. But I guess my insight just comes from at least thinking the last couple of days. It creeps. There's like. I'm telling you that I wish that I was not as, and I'm not saying, I'm not equating it to being smart. I'm just saying that there's people that walk around with nothing between their eyes. They're just dumber than dog shit, but they seem to be like the happiest people ever. I'm just saying that's not exactly what I mean, though. But there are people that are just incredibly stupid. But they go, well, has anybody ever seen like the Bills Mafia? What they do is every week before a football game, they go out and they're like jumping off of RVs onto tables, like setting themselves on fire, having a really good time. And like they don't think that, oh, maybe if I like if somebody said, hey, Josh, jump off of this RV onto this table. I'm like, I think that I possibly could break a hip or a leg, and I don't want to go through that, so I'm not going to do it. But I could be missing out on something really, really fun too, Like this could be really fun, but I don't want to break my ass, so I'm not going to do it. Like, oh, come on. And then some guy does it and he's totally fine. And he goes, yeah. And everybody cheers for him like, yeah. And I just want to jump off an RV onto a table. Why can't I? Because my mind won't let me. It says no. I get up there and I look down and I go, well, just want to jump onto that table. And then all of a sudden I can hear my doctor going, how did you do this? And I said, doctor, I jumped off an RV onto a table before a Buffalo Bills game. And he would go, why would you do that? I said, I don't know. It looked fun. Was it fun? I thought it was going to be. Or like learning how to, jump, not even jump, like those people that like set swords on fire and they swallow them, like they swallow fires, like, I don't know how they do it. I don't know if that looks like fun, but like I would never do that, It's possible. Sometimes when I watch them do it, like I watch people jump off that kind of stuff and I go, wow, they just did an excellent job. It doesn't look like they got hurt, but like, what if I broke a hip? What if I landed on my head? What if I, those are the things that go like normal. It's like a normal thought. And sometimes the normal thought isn't the best thought. So I think what B. Frank is saying here, and I get it, that the double entendre play on words here. But what you're telling me is that I should go to a Buffalo Bills tailgate and jump onto a table. I might have to do it. Swim with sharks. Can you imagine? You hear about these guys, they go, oh, I swim with a shark. And then the shark ate him. It's like, well, he was swimming with sharks, but he was alive, but now he's dead because he was swimming with sharks. But for that moment, he was alive. And it was like, no. Or, climbing Everest. Oh man, he climbed Everest. Like, why? I don't know. He wanted to feel alive. Okay. It's just like when somebody's running with the bulls. They're like, I was running with the bulls and I lost my best friend. He got stabbed in the leg and it hit an artery and he died. And you're like, nice. That sounds horrible. But to be fair, you were running alongside bulls. I don't know what you expect. But then I envy the people that run with the bulls. I go, dude, they're running with bulls. You're running with bulls. Like if you run with bulls, that's true too. Well, yeah, you could get your nuts crushed by a bull. That's true. I don't know. Bulls just seem really, really, really dangerous, so that's kind of my point. But see, I'm glad I don't. And first of all, Brandy, and I'll just address this to you really quick. I've thought about that situation 100 times over. There's not a chance. I like the story and I'll go with it forever because just the thought of him riding a bull is hilarious. But I think hold on, let me see here. Listening from the bushes with Vegemite toast. Yum. I hate roller coasters. The Lord did not create me to be thrown around like that. I don't think he did either, but yeah, Rogue, if you're here still, hang out. Yeah, you have a honestly, you have a family here. I always see you and enjoy. I notice you when you're here every time. So, I appreciate that. What did Dr. Gary say? I think as a male, life would be much easier if I experienced such an injury. I think my brain would clear up. What, if you got your nuts smashed by a bull? Is that what you're trying to say? Dr. Gary, you think that if you rode a bull and got your nuts smashed, that your brain would clear up? Is that the injury you're talking? Oh, I get it. Never mind. I get what you're saying. I don't think it helped. I don't think it helped him. And I don't think just because you get your nuts crushed that it doesn't work. Like you what is it? Libido? I don't know. You're a doctor. You tell me. Just because you get your nuts smashed doesn't mean it's going to clear your brain up. You might just have smashed nuts. You go around and you're like, oh, look. And then, something down there happens. You're like, ow, that hurts. I shouldn't have rode that bull. That's what I would think. I would think that, is it libido? It's not libido. Yeah, I get it. I get it now. I was trying to think what injury you were talking about, because I did mention breaking your leg, breaking your ass, breaking your butt, and then getting your nuts smashed by a bull. That's what I'm saying. Like, it would be, it'd be like one of those people that, like, yeah, I'm supposed to. I'm just telling you, dude. I don't think it works that way. I think just because you get your nuts smashed, that you probably still have a little. What is it? It's not, the word's not libido, is it? Let me look up libido. I got to see if I'm using that right. If not, I really got to stop using it. Libido refers to sexual desire or drive, the motivation and interest in engaging. Okay, so yeah, that's right. I used it right. I'm going to keep using it, baby. Can't wait for church on Sunday. Hey, everybody, guess what? I've been using correctly all this time. My doctor, Dr. Gary, told me that if I got my nuts smashed, it would affect my libido and my brain would clear up. And the pastor's like, I'm going to need you to leave. It's like, all right, sorry. Yeah, I'm going to tell him he's my personal doctor. Did you know that the first junk cup was invented in 1847 for men? The helmet wasn't invented for another 100 years. Well, I could see that. That makes sense. Makes sense to me. The brain is really not that important. Does anybody remember was it Little Giants when Timmy, they poured out all that old equipment and Timmy for some reason thought that the brown cup that used to once be white was like a COVID mask, and so he put it on his face. And then Rick Moranis is like, I don't, he's all, Timmy, I'm not sure, but I don't think that goes there. Oh. Did it? It did go take a left turn. That's what I'm saying. That's part of what I'm trying to tell you is that there's no direction in this show whatsoever. You can be here one day and there the next. We could be talking about, gay guys that have monkeys, and which, by the way, I think is awesome. By the way, I love gay guys, love monkeys. Where you at, Justin? Where did Justin go? I'm just kidding. Or, go into a Buffalo Bills game. But anyway, Brandy, let me get back to this really quick. I like the story, the thought of him getting... yeah, it's true. I said it. It's true. I mean it too, by the way. Now, the brain's important. But, yeah, I'll have to wait till next year to jump off an RV onto a table. But listen to me here. I'm trying to explain something. Brandy, I don't think that that's what happened with him. There's nothing in the world that I would love more than to see Stacy Wandra saddle a bull. I'd feel bad for the bull and then get bucked off that bull and then subsequently get his nuts smiznashed to ruin his libido for the rest of his eternities, okay? But I think what happened, and this is just my opinion, I think I might have I may have told you this before, but I think somehow, some way, there was a petting zoo incident that involved a goat, a vulnerable goat, at one time, that the goat was like eating hay, but and all the other goats were like, turn around, and he was just so confident. He was just like so confident in himself that nobody was going to sneak up on him. And they're like, turn around, help. And then he gets like a little closer and he's like, here, little goaty, turn around. And then he just keeps eating his hay. And then all of a sudden, he gets too close to it, and the goat kicks him in the balls. And then the goat turned around and said, listen, dude, I'm trying to eat here. And then I think that's more how probably what happened. It makes a little bit more sense than him riding a bull. Now, no goats were harmed in the thought of that story. They thought there was going to be a harmed goat, but that goat, nah. That's just what I think. I mean, who knows? I mean, I could think of something else. I could, like a pterodactyl, like a rare pterodactyl came out of nowhere and dropped a 100-pound weight on, right through the ceiling because the pterodactyl knew where he sit to watch TV every day. I don't know. I mean, I could come up with a million different scenarios. None of them involve him riding a bull. None of them. Like, I think that a goat would outsmart him. Matter of fact, I think that a goat would outsmart a lot of people, particularly on YouTube. Like, I think that if goats had access to the internet, that at least in the genre that I seem to be locked in, that goats would probably be at the top of the food chain. Me and a couple of goats would hang out, and Nutmeg would tell us about the time that he kicked a 500-pound dude in the nuts that tried to sneak up on him. He doesn't know why the goat tried to sneak up on him or why the guy tried to sneak up on him. The goat has no idea. He just knows that he got a little too close. That's it. When you get too close, you get the horns. Yeah. What happens when you try to get the goat by the ass? You get the bull gives you the horns. Oh God. It's going downhill. This was the lady from Jersey is not going to come back. I can tell you that right now. Yeah. Dude, though I have seen one eat a can Not even kidding you. I've seen a goat eat a can. I watched it happen. It was like like a beer can. He ate it. It's like chewing on it. Scared that the goats are not to be messed with. All right. They are, dude. They're very underrated. There's something special. Anything that could eat a beer can and enjoy it, they wouldn't eat it if they didn't enjoy it. They're clever. You know, they're very, very clever. You know, they're weird. They're weird creatures. I know, but I just can't help. I think that goat is responsible for the nutmeg of Stacy. I think that Stacy got his nuts kicked off. Sorry. No, I'm not going to talk about that anymore. Oh, man. Turn around. Bah. 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 Come here, little goat. Bah. I'll kick you in the nuts. Back away. Back away. I mean, I don't know. Who would let him in a petting zoo anyway? It's like a friendly place. I would if I was the hand stamper at the zoo, I wouldn't stamp his hand. I'd be like, you got to go. You got to go. I don't want you here. Billy goats are scary. I absolutely know that. They are very mean creatures. Bah. Yeah. My uncle, says this. My uncle told me one time that they pee on their beard, and I didn't believe it. And I was like telling him, no way, that's not possible. That's not happening. And he just sat there and looked forward, and he goes, look it up on YouTube, dumbass. That's what he said to me. And I was like, it was really good to see you, bud. Thanks, Unc. Yeah, they're disgusting. But, yeah, they really are gross. He said, look it up, dumbass. That's what he said. My boys had a pet goat called... Don't people eat goats? My uncle, different uncle. I have a plethora of psychotic uncles in my life, but I had a uncle who his goat ate all his pot plants, so then he cooked it. Told me the whole story. It was it was funny too. Well, I'll tell you this, because I was little when he told me. They only pee on their beards to impress the females. That makes sense. But anyway, so this is how the story goes, and I'm probably 13, maybe 12. And by the way, I'm a huge animal lover. But I eat bacon, so I don't know how to feel about it. But I do love animals, and I can't even watch an animal get hurt ever. But he says to me, my uncle, and he's from the Central Valley. He's an outdoorsman. He's like Jim Bridger, kind of. He's just, that's how he is. But So he was telling me about a goat. He's like, yeah, I used to have this goat. And I was like, oh, yeah, it's cute, you know? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, I love goats. They're so cute. And he's like, yeah, they are. He goes, he goes, you want to know a funny story? And I was like, sure. Yeah, I do. And he goes, my goat got into my weed when I was growing weed when I was younger. And I go, really? He's like, yeah, he got into my weed. Like my you know, where I was growing my pot, and he ate all my plants. And I was like, that's funny. That's funny. And I was like, okay. And then I go, so what happened next? He's, oh, then I killed it and ate it. You guys have a good night. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. I never forgave him for that story. Never. He thought that was a perfectly good ending to a story. Lunatic. Can you imagine? It was a terrible story. It's all right, though. It happened in the 70s, so. If it happened in the 70s, it doesn't count, I heard. That's just what he told me. It was. I appreciate it. Love you too. Thank you so much. You guys have a great night. Oh, and I think Dr. Gary and I are doing a show tomorrow. 6:30 p.m. West Coast, 9:30 East Coast. And Seth, I'll give you a call. I don't know if you'll be awake, but apparently people do it, man. I'll tell you. I don't know why. I have no clue. I think I need to change the color of the chat box. I'm glad it worked, though. It worked really well. I think that's better. Cool, man. Good night. Yeah, I'm not rooting for the Chiefs, so sorry. I don't want them to win. Oh, really? Damn it. Little Miss Sharon. Vic, I'm bummed. I think so. I mean, it's supposed to. I don't know anything about the 70s, though. Do you really have goats? I'm not the one that did it. I didn't do that to the goat. I would have never done that. Ever. Hell, you can. You're allowed to. I don't care. I'm tired of them. I'm tired of watching the Chiefs play football. I'm sick of it. I don't even like the Super Bowl. Super Bowl sucks. You want to know why? I mean, you know what? Let me tell you why. Vic, good thing you stuck around. I'm going to tell you why the Super Bowl sucks. Because it's 2 weeks from after the game. All right. From after the championship weekend, you have to wait 2 weeks to watch the Super Bowl. Okay. Then all anybody ever talks about is the halftime show. Like there's never been one good halftime show performance. You may have a favorite. You may have liked somebody. You may, my favorite artist is no, there's no, maybe Bruno Mars. Other than that, None. There's never been one single. No, Prince didn't do good either. Nobody does good at the Super Bowl. I don't care about the halftime show. It sucks. And the Super Bowl lasts like 5 hours. They have to take these long ass commercial breaks because they've sold the whole show away to, I don't know. It's just, and everybody's like, oh, the commercials are so funny. Cause what's going to happen is there'll be a commercial, somebody like last year it was like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Right. And what happens is some guy that you haven't seen from or heard from for years, like James Earl Jones, right? I know he's dead, but like, what if he shows up in a commercial tomorrow and they're like, or on Sunday, James Earl Jones ain't dead. And he's like, I ain't dead, mother effer. And that sounded more like Shaft, but I'm just saying that's what they'll do. And he'll be doing like a Dorito, some sort of Dorito thing, like James Earl Jones, I eat Doritos or, whatever it is. And everybody will go, did you see that James Earl Jones commercial? And you're like, yeah, I saw it. It was awesome. Did you know? I thought he was dead. And you're like, no, he's not. That's just what I think. Anyway. That's what I'm saying. I mean, what if he's not dead? I could see James Earl Jones showing up. Like I said, you might have a favorite one, but none of them are good. Yeah, okay. What if Tupac, all right? What if Tupac does the halftime show instead of Kendrick Lamar? And everybody's like, I thought Tupac was dead. And they're like, nah, he's not. Surprise. Now buy these Ritz crackers. It's going to be something like something stupid. Monday, everybody's going to be like, did you guys see that commercial? And they're like, yeah, I saw it. Can you believe that? Who was the first guy to ever walk on the moon? Who was that? It wasn't Buzz Aldrin. That Neil guy, I think, wasn't it? Neil Armstrong. Like, what if was it Buzz Aldrin? I thought it was Neil Armstrong. I don't know, whatever. Who's Neil Armstrong? I don't even know who that is now. Neil Armstrong? Isn't that the guy that that won like all those Tour de France's? Which one is that? Who is that? Yeah, Neil Armstrong. Lance Armstrong. This is unbelievable. Oh yeah, I'm the goof. You said Buzz Aldrin was the first guy to walk on the moon. I'm the goof. All right. Lance Armstrong. So Neil Armstrong shows up at the Super Bowl or something. Just somebody that's been dead. I don't know. King Herod who knows? They're going to pull somebody out of retirement and everybody's going to go, look, I thought I haven't seen that person in years. And then everybody's going to have to act like they look at it and go, oh, yeah, he looks good. Yeah. Oh. Like you bring out Clint Eastwood, you're like, he looks pretty good. anybody. That's what I'm saying. It's just like, I'm going to watch the game. Oh, I'm going to watch. Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Like I'm waiting for this like Super Bowl extravaganza, you know. And anyway, I don't know. I don't know if it'll happen or not. Elvis would be a good get if you could get a hold of his agent, you know. You know what, Kimberly, and I know there's a lot of people that don't like sports here, but I really don't think they're going to win. I think that the Eagles are a better team. And when you lose, you should be happy that you've won so many already. And, you know, we'll move on and we'll stay friends. And, you know, that's true. Go Astros. Well, they're cheaters. That'll happen. Do you remember when they did? What did they do that with the thing of Tupac? He did a. Remember when he was like a hologram? Didn't even look like him. It looked more like Omar Epps to me. Taylor Swift has already paid for her boyfriend to win. Well, hopefully this year Travis Kelce just punches his coach, so we'll have more to talk about. Not just a shove, a punch. And then he'll be like, he's just like my kid. My kids used to punch me just like him. Something like that. Mary Shield says, it's your channel if you want to be improper and you have a bad day. Well, I appreciate that. Will Smith. Yeah, can come slap it. I don't even know who Tim Leary is. Who's that? Ella. Yes, I will. I think I'm going to do some wings, yeah. I like those. Anyway, appreciate y'all being here. Creator of what? LSD? Are you talking about Mary Hartman? If you go watch the Interview Room last show that I was on there with Chris, and I think if that's what you're talking about, Mary was on the show with us, so it's been the longest outro ever. Yeah, head on, go to the Interview Room, and she was just on talking with us. Yep, that's true. He did. Y'all have a good night.